Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Raw, SmackDown, and or PLEs. And since everybody submitted Bron Breakker Vision hot takes today, I thought I'd give ChatGPT a platform as well to tell me its hot take. And ChatGPT says the Vision breaking up might be the best thing that has ever happened to it. The group has started to feel like background noise for Seth's wardrobe choices, not a real faction with purpose. By turning on him, they finally have their own identity, and ironically, Seth might only become truly visionary once he's forced to see what his disciples become without him. All right, chop GPT, more like it. Took the words out of my mouth. I guess the episode's over because that just sums it up. All right, well, let's keep going anyways. I need subscribers, and I need 20,000 subscribers, actually, to give away this belt. If you want to win said belt right here, all you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win said belt on my quest to quit my day job. Not that it matters. Looks like ChatGPT is gonna take over YouTube probably with those kind of hot takes. Like, I'll be reapplying for jobs the moment I quit. So, anyways, let's talk. Actually, let's talk the whole situation, because we'll get the hot takes. But like I said, almost every single one is Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins and everything. So let's break down the situation where we're at, and then we'll just read off some hot takes. I will give you guys a tip. If you want to make sure that you're in hot takes, don't always go for the most popular angle, because I'm scouring for something about, AJ Styles about to become a tag team champion. So anyways, where are we at? Bron Breakker, he spears Seth Rollins. But why is Seth injured? A lot of people are saying backstage that Seth is injured. He was seen with an arm sling. They said it happened during the coast-to-coast headbutt, which I don't know why he's doing that. We didn't need that. No one's going to be talking about that coast-to-coast headbutt. Like, they really aren't in about 3 months. In fact, most people have already forgotten about it unless they see a clip online and they're like, oh yeah, that was cool. And then they go and see another clip. Don't be doing stuff like that, because now he might legit be injured. But wasn't he legit injured at Saturday Night's Main Event early in the year? Faked an injury and then did the ruse of the century. And so a lot of people are saying, oh no, it's a real. Yeah, that's what he said before. And so now there are certain people that don't want to get invested in this heel turn of Bron Breakker, because they're just like, this is just Seth playing us to screw CM Punk over again. And I would say this to you guys and gals, just enjoy the story. Try to just enjoy it. Who cares? Who cares if they work us? Don't be so afraid of getting worked that you work yourself into a shoot, that you can't enjoy the product. Because let me tell you something, that's WWE. WWE's existence is actually supposed to try to work us. That's what wrestling is. They need to try to work us. So enjoy the moment. Who cares? What's the worst that happens? You believe something that is happening in wrestling that's like a news flash. You know how Asuka and Kairi, they're like, Asuka slapped Kairi? Well, that was a work, okay? That was a work. So, like, if you can enjoy that, just enjoy this storyline that Bron Breakker, and if Seth is okay, which I actually hope he's not really injured. I really hope that. But if Seth is okay, great. Okay, but I will say on the flip side, I hope that this is not a work. Now, I hope that Seth is not injured, and I hope they just looked at the ratings, looked at fan sentiment, seeing that the Vision, it just wasn't landing, it just wasn't hitting, so they switched it, and they just had Braun, just like, they're like, screw it, let's cut the cord and make Braun go. And I hope that's what happened, because honestly, the Vision, it wasn't landing. It was not the Bloodline saga that they were hoping for. Now, I could sit here all day long and say it's because they didn't change Seth Rollins' music. Seth Rollins didn't have no character change. He was the exact same person. When Roman Reigns became the tribal chief, it wasn't the big dog with the Usos behind him. Roman changed everything about himself, and Seth didn't. Maybe that's the reason. But whatever the reason may be, it didn't land as well as it should. Were there bright spots in it? Yeah, there were bright spots, but I mean, they didn't even have a name for 3 months. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, they were way more, they had way more identity before joining the Vision. Ironically, it's when Seth faked his injury that we got to see the most personality out of the Brawns. Now, granted, Bronson Reed does look pretty strong right now in that he did just beat Roman Reigns. So at the end of the day, the Vision did help. The Vision did help Bronson Reed. But I don't know if that was just luck that Roman needed someone to steal his shoes so he could product placement them. But, which, by the way, that's how you do product placement. That was a perfect example of how to do product placement without shoving it down our throats. It elevated everybody. But that said, overall, it's like this faction should have been way more dominant, dangerous, interesting, but we just got to a point where it was literally like 3 months in a row of just rinse, repeat the main event story. So it's like the Vision, I don't know, they tried. I give them props for trying. And I also give them props if they just said, you know what, this is not working. Let's cut the cord. Let's just stop it now. I do give them props for that. And if Seth is really injured, that sucks. That sucks. I don't want Seth to be really injured. But you know what? A lot of times there can be good that comes from injuries where things are forced to happen. The WWE back is against the wall. So whether or not this is Triple H doing a knee-jerk reaction to poor ratings and poor fan sentiment, or Seth Rollins is injured, there's a lot of good that can come from Bron Breakker becoming the man in charge, or just going completely insane. The guy is a walking soundbite. This guy is so unpredictable. That's what WWE needs right now on Raw, especially because it brings life. Now, I get it. It's like way soon. It is way soon, and we will read your hot takes. We will read hot takes. I'm just going to read them one by one. I'm going to address everything because like I've already read most of them. I try not to read hot takes. Before, I try to be knee-jerk, but everything was Bron Breakker. But the sentiment of it's too soon, we should have waited. I don't know. Should we have? Why? Why do we got to wait? Isn't one of the biggest criticisms of Triple H that he waits too long, that his long-term booking is just a little too long? A-Town Down Under anybody. How long did it take for Cody Rhodes to have an interesting feud during his first title reign? It was like Kevin Owens. Like, it went from April to October of just like lame storylines for Cody Rhodes because we're long-term booking everything. So I'm happy. I'm happy that if Triple H saw this and was like, nah, it's not working. Let's pivot right this second. And I'm okay with that as long as there's follow-up. Because I also get the point, well, this is just another Triple H moment. A Triple H moment designed to just get likes and whatever on social media. And it could be. But I'm not going to default to that right this second. I'm fully willing to criticize. I am fully on board with the sentiment of John Cena's heel turn sucked. I will criticize when criticism is due. However, I'm not going to walk into a storyline and be like, oh, relax, guys, relax. Don't forget what he did with the New Day. No, if this sucks, if Bron Breakker heel turn or whatever it is, he's a heel turn, it does suck, I will compare it to the New Day, but I'm not going to do it right this second. I'm going to wait until we can see if there are results. I'm not going to just say, oh, let Papa H cook. No. I'm not doing that either. But I will give him like 2 or 3 weeks at least. I will give him 2 or 3 weeks before I pass judgment. So hopefully this is I don't mind if it's a knee-jerk reaction, but I hope that there is plans. Because sometimes you do need to have a knee-jerk reaction because it's been boring and lame lately. Now, the last week was good, but it's been boring and lame lately, and Bron Breakker is the dude that could just shake it all up. Because, I mean, he's young. I've done videos saying, I want this dude. I don't care if he's 28 years old. Like, look at The Rock. Look at Brock Lesnar. Look at Randy Orton. Those were young dudes in their 20s that won championships. I don't think we need to wait till we're 38, 39, 40. Nothing against the 40-year-olds. I'm 46, but like I don't think we have to be eligible to be the president of the United States in order to become a champion, a world champion in WWE because of your age limit. So I'm very, very much happy about this. And if Seth Rollins is injured, I would suggest not doing crazy moves anymore. There's no point. There's just really no point. And it sucks. I hope he gets well soon, but whether he's really injured or he's faking an injury, I don't care. I'm really happy with this, and I really hope that if he is faking the injury, that we don't go back. I hope Bron Breakker just realizes, no, I'm staying like this. I'm on my own. I'm off my leash now. I am going to be this person because this is what we needed. I'm glad that LA Knight is in the main event scene, but it was just rinse, repeat. LA Knight, CM Punk, Jey Uso, just those three, just trying to figure out who's going to be the world champion while Seth Rollins just laughs. Nah. Someone said this. And I do get the criticism. It was just too soon. But again, if something's not working, just bye. It's like I would rather just change course right away. I don't think we need to just go on forever. And don't forget, Judgment Day was not awesome and great until they got rid of Edge. There was good elements with Edge, their leader, but the real Judgment Day that everybody knows and loves is the Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley Judgment Day. So they had to get rid of Edge and Finn Balor. And so maybe the vision is just starting. Maybe this is just starting, and it's kind of a situation like that. And back then, the reason why they got rid of Edge out of Judgment Day, that was a knee-jerk reaction to Randy Orton getting injured, and they needed another babyface. So they made Edge into a babyface, and that did wonders for Judgment Day and everybody involved. Now, I'm not saying an injury is good, but an injury can lead to good things. When Rhea Ripley got injured, that led to Liv Morgan's ascension to the main event. I think Liv Morgan right now feels like a main eventer no matter what. Before, she flirted with the main event, but it elevated her. Becky Lynch getting punched in the face by Nia Jax, that made her the man. When CM Punk, unfortunately, when he got injured at Royal Rumble, that led to a lot of things. That led to a lot of things to WrestleMania 4, but it also led to the Drew McIntyre Seth CM Punk feud that we got. So if Seth Rollins is really injured, ironically, it's going to help the vision more than anything. So, and if he's not, and I'm getting worked, and I'm a fool, okay, that's wrestling. I'm a fool. I hope WWE works me more. I want WWE to actively try to figure out ways to trick me, because that's the beauty of wrestling. It's one of the only forms of entertainment where we're supposed to be tricked, other than magic, So it's like, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. But I'm not saying shut your mouth and enjoy it. I'm saying enjoy it, but we do got to call things out. We do got to call things out when it's due. But right now, right now, I think we can take a moment before we pass judgment. Does that make sense? All right, so now I'm going to read a bunch of random Bron Breakker comments, and then I'll scour and find any other hot takes. Worst booking decision of the year. I don't agree. I love that Bron Breakker is in the main event and the focus. DS pause. After months of nothing ever happening, finally something happened. A good ending to a very middle-of-the-road show. Not bad by any means. By far the best Raw since SummerSlam. It was a very good Raw, in my opinion. Kai, I thought Randy would have turned on Cody before the Vision breakup. New Dangerous Alliance being Paulie's his faction in WCW. But yeah, you're right. I think we're gonna get GTA 6, maybe even 7 before Randy turns on Cody. But there you go, an example of long-term booking that has become too long-term booking. Randy just looking at Cody Rhodes' championship. Nah, pull the plug. This Bron Breakker ascension to the main event, too long term. I don't need 5 years of Bron Breakker on the main roster. That's what NXT's for. Then we got Kid Wilkes saying it was way too early to split the Vision up. They should have taken another month or two, because right now Bronson Reed is more deserving of a world title contender over Breakker, given his defeat over Roman Reigns. That's actually a valid point. That's a valid point in that, Bronson Reed deserves it more than Bron Breakker. Breakker based on win-loss record. I kind of hope the Brawns go to SmackDown also and cause havoc there. Bronson goes after Cody and Breakker goes after the World Championship. I think that would be really cool. And that would solve that problem and say, you know what, both are deserving. Donatello Leonardo says, not sure how I feel about the ending. I feel like 5 months is way too quick to be breaking this group up, and there was definitely mileage for them to get to Mania, regardless of whether or not Seth still had the belt the whole time. That's valid. You know, like, some things just don't work at first, and you do gotta stake it through, like Judgment Day. But also, like Judgment Day, as I said earlier, they did kick out their leader. So maybe the faction isn't over. The Vision can still be there, just not without the Visionary, the Revolutionary, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth freaking Rollins. But you also do bring up the fact that did we just have Roman Reigns use one of his ever few dwindling appearances to put over Bronson Reed so that Bronson can just take orders from Bron Breakker? I'm not quite sure if Bronson Reed was taking orders in that he was like the lesser of the two in that moment. I get it. Bron Breakker went up to him and was like, you need to pick or choose. And he chose Breakker. But I'm not sure if it was like a dad, Bron Breakker, telling his son, you need to pick or choose. I think it was more like a brother telling Bronson Reed to another brother, you need to pick or choose. Someone like you're an equal. I think Bron Breakker was doing it as an equal and not as a leader, forcing Bron to pick. Number 4 says, I think the Brawns are going to go to SmackDown this Friday. I could be wrong, but what if Bronson Reed goes after Cody and wants his title and Breakker goes after the heavyweight? I think that might be like, boom, right there. Number. I said that like literally a minute ago. I wonder if I read your comment. I told you I had read some comments. I might have read your comment earlier. So whatever I said about the championship like 2 minutes ago, I'm going to give all credit to Number for that. I might have subconsciously stole that one from you because I don't really remember reading your comment, but I did read a lot of comments. So like, I probably stole that from you. That was Number, okay? Number's hot take, not mine. Comment of doom. Will Sherlock freaking Holmes be able to solve the mystery of why the Brawns turned on him? I do hope we explain it. They never fully explained John Cena's heel turn, other than John Cena like got talked into making Shock TV. So yeah, I do hope that while I don't want to say we need to just completely compare it to the John Cena heel turn earlier in the year, we do need to learn from its mistakes, and let's fully explain. And there's lots of explanations. Seth Rollins at the beginning of the show said, I don't need these guys. I chose them, but I don't need them. And then he also made Bron Breakker at one point, basically, he went to Bron Breakker and said, hey, Bron, do this. And Bron did it, but like maybe Bron Breakker gets mad about that. He says, I'm not your dog. I'm not a real dog. I'm not like here to do tricks for you. I'm here to main event WrestleMania. Or maybe it's just Bron Breakker gets sick of everything. And he's just like, yeah, how have I elevated? I was Intercontinental Champion before you, and what championships have I won now? So maybe he just gets sick of it. We got to explain it though. Bron Breakker does have to explain it. Carmichael says, so I guess we're not getting the Vision inside War Games. Well, I mean, the Vision might still be a thing. They still might be a thing. It just might not be without Seth Rollins. But yeah, War Games is now definitely up in the air. That's the one thing that makes me think that maybe it is a work. That is a work because it's like Seth Rollins can still re-enter War Games as part of the Vision because the matchup with CM Punk is probably at Saturday Night's Main Event, which is 2 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks before before War Games. Therefore, Seth can reveal he's not injured at Saturday Night's Main Event and then enter War Games. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a ruse. I don't know if Seth is injured or not, but I don't think it's a ruse. Sensei says, with Seth now being betrayed by the Brawns, where does that leave Seth when it comes to his status in the rest of the locker room? He's hated by everyone, and to be honest, doesn't deserve the help from anyone. Honestly, I hope he's a villain without a tribe. Only him and Becky. Him and Becky were fine. He could just literally be like, I don't need anybody. I got my hot wife here. And Becky could be like, I don't need anyone either. I got my hot husband, and I'm the best in the world. And that's not just me saying it. That's Sports Illustrated. And so, like, I hope we can play this up, this, like, Seth Rollins on his own, but, like, literally everybody hates him for a while. Go Buggy says, I love Braun and Bronson for turning on Seth, and it's not taking 2 to 3 years just to do it, because we all know how Triple H loves his long-term storytelling. Yeah, exactly. I would have been fine with WrestleMania, to be quite honest with you, but I'm actually even happier that it happened now. Had they done things in the beginning to set the vision up better, I think it was just, I don't know. After WrestleMania 4, I think Triple H, maybe he got a little too, his head got a little too big, and he just wasn't listening to nobody and made a lot of bad creative decisions that he's having to fix right now. I wish things could be different. I do wish that the vision would have worked, because I was very excited about the vision at first, but I don't know. I still think they should have just left Bronson Reed by himself, because he was doing just fine by himself, and it should have been Seth, Bron Breakker, and someone like Austin Theory or Ethan Page or Trick Williams. Although I think Trick Williams is fine by himself now. I think Trick Williams really came into his own with that TNA belt. What else we got? Salvo Savage says, the end of Raw makes me feel like we get a Seth face turn. Maybe he rejoins Roman for whatever reason. I just can't see Seth and Roman on the same page again. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. They got the bloodline to reform in 2 months last year, and that's after, like, the Sammy J betrayal. It's like, I was shocked that they made it make sense that quick. It was rushed, but it still made sense. So, I mean, Seth has gone on record to say, I don't hate Roman. I love Roman. I just hate what he does. He says there's a fine line between hate and love. I hate CM Punk, but I love Roman. But he's also said, but Roman is his arch nemesis as well. But I just don't see Roman. I don't think Roman could ever get on the same page with Seth. And I'm not even saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying within Roman's character, I just don't see it happening. But you never know. I didn't think AJ Lee would come back after 10 years. Tiz Mickey, Seth has to be injured. There's no way this turn should have happened this soon anyways. What about War Games? I mean, I'll admit, I thought that Breakker lost more aura in the vision than he had before this turn. This turn this early is crazy. Yeah. Seth, I think Seth is injured. I think he's injured. He's the boy who cried wolf, though, in that nobody's believing it right now. But I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker, and I'm kind of thinking that he is injured. And if I'm wrong, who cares? I'm just like, good. Good. I don't want him to be injured, and I want WWE to trick me. Longneck says, finally, Seth can't bask in the glory. Yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't let him. He literally wins the champion versus champion, can't bask. That is surprising to me, which also makes me think that he was injured, because if he wasn't injured, why wouldn't they let Cody just win this? But it did add to the surprise. You just thought that, okay, well, Seth is on top now. He's the top dog. So it did add to the surprise that he wasn't able to even bask in the glory of it. It does make the Crown Jewel Championship, though, even worth less, though, if Seth has to just be gone. But again, if it's a real injury, then there's nothing you can do about it. Family-friendly PG guy, holy S-word, that ending was crazy. Survivor Series is going to be crazy. Maybe Brock has as the new leader of the Vision. I hope not. I hope that Brock Lesnar stays far away from this. I don't want it. If we need Brock in War Games, then fine, but unless Brock is fighting Bron Breakker or Oba Femi and he's losing to them, I don't even want to see Brock near WWE TV. That's my opinion, though. Balek says, I'm a huge Bron Breakker fan. However, now isn't the best time for him to win a world title. It's obvious that whenever he wins, it's going to be a 1 to 2 year title reign, and there is not so many top guys on Raw right now that the world title should be hot potatoed. Honestly, I think Bron Breakker could have a good 3 to 4 month run, and then they just hot potato it. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think we need to have the world title as a 2 to 3 year title reign. Jimbo Slice says, I don't like how they produced the breakup because now Bronson Reed looks like a follower again. He finally set himself apart after beating Roman, and now he's following behind Bron Breakker's lead. I think it was just in the moment. Bron Breakker wasn't talking to him as I'm your boss. He was talking to him as a brother to a brother. Come on, let's go. We got this. We can do this. We don't need anybody. Martin says, this is the most optimistic I've felt about Raw in some time. Seth, as the head of the division, just wasn't working, so I'm glad we weren't dragging it out. Yeah, I'm glad we weren't dragging it out either. It just wasn't working. It wasn't working. And they had Bron Breakker they had Bron Breakker just like smash him. It wasn't like Seth just saying, all right, guys, we're done. This ain't working. Bye. It's like, when John Cena turned back to a face, it made no sense whatsoever. This can make sense as long as they explain that Bron Breakker just got tired of the BS. Carmen Monte says, John Cena. I agree. Gilmore Hurd says the Vision turned on Seth way too early. That betrayal should have happened after War Games. The whole point was that Heyman warned if Seth lost to Cody, there'd be consequences, but Seth won. The turn shouldn't have been teased, built up, and then exploded. The turn should have been teased, built up, and then exploded after Survivor Series for maximum impact. I guess you got a valid point there. They were teasing it, and then when Seth won, it's like, okay, well, like, were we just going to a turn no matter what? But to be fair, it looked like Bron Breakker did the turning and nobody expected it. So it wasn't like coming from Paul Heyman. I will say, though, that also lends credence to the injury maybe being a thing. Jimbo Slice, I did not expect the Vision to break up right before War Games. What? Yeah, neither did I. Maybe if like Seth had taken the pin at War Games, then Bron Breakker attacked, that might appease some more people. Okay, so that's the Bron Breakker portion. I know, like almost everybody. Let's hear what other people have to say. We got Metal Talk. I genuinely believe Maxine is winning next week. They're building her to a future star, it seems. I could see it going either way. Just another really banger match with Becky has really elevated Maxine. I think they should have gave her more airtime, and they should have really tried to capitalize on that win this week. What happens? Does AJ Lee help Maxine win so we can continue the AJ Lee Becky feud, or does Becky just beat up Maxine Dupree and AJ comes out after? Something's going to happen next week with AJ Lee. Huffing and puffing. I love that they're not rushing the Tribal Chief Jey Uso storyline and they're letting things slowly build. It'll make the turn that much more meaningful and emotional. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I said earlier, I don't want us to be fully reliant and like handcuffed to long-term storytelling, like, oh, we got to get the Vision to year 3. But at the same time, it can be a great thing as well, as the Bloodline has demonstrated. We can have both. Long-term and short-term. Jasper Von Chill, I see a photo of the Dudleys' retirement. The Dudleys retired in TNA over last weekend. They fought the Hardys, and it was such a wholesome moment. Passing down your boots, the torch, felt very special. Through and through, respect. I kind of wish they would have, like, I don't think it was a passing of the torch because the Hardys are kind of the same age, let's be honest, but it was a really cool moment. I would have loved a passing of the torch to a younger team, but I also understand. I think Devon said he wanted to be in the ring with people he knew he could trust, so I can respect that. Longneck says, Kairi getting picked on by her mentor, and yeah, that's still like the best. That's still the best storyline going on. Let's not mistake a really good moment of Bron Breakker turning on Seth for the best storyline that's been consistent throughout the weeks. Kairi, Asuka, Io, that's the best storyline going on right now, and we just imagine that pop when Kairi actually does turn. And then, yeah, man, I'm so down for Dirty Dom being dirty with the Timekeeper bell. Yeah, I love that we're leading into the Eddie Guerrero live sheet steel gimmick. It's like, not like, I thought Eddie Guerrero was the only dude who would ever be able to pull that off, but I was wrong. Looks like father, like son. LT says, Australia made me appreciate the U.S. crowds. At least most reactions from the U.S. is what's happening in the show. Honestly, I think it's all over the world now. All over the world. Other than France. I'm still going to say France is like the best, but it seems like no matter where you go, the crowds just want to put themselves over. It's not like the 2018-19 era where the crowds wanted to hijack the show. Now the crowds just want to, I don't know, they just want to be part of the experience, and I think it does kind of ruin things, or does kind of taint things for the at-home viewer, but I think the crowds are having fun, and but I get what you're saying. It is kind of annoying. Why not just have, if we're going to do the Roman Reigns, Roman, it loses its ability to be special when Dirty Dom has it, Io has it, Cody Rhodes has that same exact chant. Pick one wrestler to have that chant. They're only doing one, hey Bailey chant for one person. So let's just do that Cody Rhodes for one person. But, I think we're just old men yelling at clouds on this one. And Roger Murray says WWE is dead. Why? You gotta say why. You can't just say is dead. I need something. And Martin Brophy says, sorry, had a wrestling break, been concentrating on life. What are your thoughts now on War Games? All right. So, hey, this applies to anybody. If you ever have to take a break from the channel or wrestling in general, that's you do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna guilt you or anything. I will leave the lights on. I'm not going anywhere. Even if this storyline turns out to be the worst storyline of all time, I don't know. I've got a love-hate relationship with WWE. I said this to somebody in the Discord that the WWE is basically Asuka, and I'm Kairi Sane. I'm going to be here no matter what. And I'll keep the lights on for you, though, if you're ever able to return. So never feel bad about leaving. If you leave for an entire year, you can always come back and no judgment whatsoever. And what do I think about War Games? I don't know. That I'll tell you what. I'll do a War Games prediction video. That'll be tough. But I'll do a War Games prediction video maybe Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. Tomorrow I got to do 3 hot, 3 not. That's going to be tough too. Anyways, boys, girls, I appreciate every single one of you. Have yourselves a great day.